Whenever it comes to Hedera, there is definitely a lot that we could speculate about. There's definitely a lot that we could talk about with, the potential opportunity with Hedera. We could talk about how the US government might adopt Hedera at one point in time, or, this big bank might use Hedera at one point in time. We could speculate all day long on that. But one thing that is very clear is that governments, these big institutions, these big players, they're all warming up to the idea of utilizing the best in class technology players from this space to build out legitimate products, solutions, and services that could ultimately revolutionize industries, sectors, and even entire asset classes. So, as we do think about that, Hedera is definitely at the top of the list for a big player to be adopted and utilized whenever it comes to anything, and that does include, of course, the government sector. Now, we have a lot to address because of what we've been hearing around Elon Musk and his plans around the US government. And this definitely has caused a lot of speculation and even talk about how Hedera could potentially be one of those big players that could be, adopted in and utilized. And in this video, I want to talk a lot about that and actually address a few things that could definitely highlight the fact that Hedera could be one of those players. So, welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. Also, if you guys do want access to a great US-based exchange that is offering the best-in-class services for US investors. Now, when I say US-based, I mainly am talking about how Caleb and Brown caters to a lot of those US-based investors that are having a hard time finding an exchange that they can trust, that they have 24/7 access to customer support. Caleb and Brown is one of those exchanges. It's a global exchange, but for US based investors, this is probably one of the best ones outside of, like, for an example, Coinbase or even Uphold, which, let's just be honest, they both have their pros and cons. But with Caleb and Brown, the thing that I love about this exchange is their 24/7 direct customer support. I also love the fact that their fees are some of the lowest fees out there, and it's a very quick exchange to use. I've been utilizing it over the last couple weeks, and I have zero complaints when it comes to Caleb and Brown. And I do think that, if you are in the US and you're looking for an exchange that you can trust, this is definitely one of them. Try it out. You won't regret it. If you don't like it, you don't have to use it. But if you like it, hey, maybe it will become your favorite exchange. There's going to be a link down in the description below that you guys can sign up using my link right now. And let me know what you guys think. But with that being said, let's go and look at the governance model of Hedera. So the governance model around Hedera has always been something that I have always found very unique. And it's something that's actually very valuable. And the reason why is because, what if we are thinking about governmental sector adoption for some of these networks, you kind of look at the names that are already utilizing Hedera. Like, for an example, there's some very large asset management companies on here, some very large banks. You even have some major pieces of the government. For an example, Australian Payments Plus is a key player in the Australian government sector for payments. I mean, this is a big player. Then you also look at, like, players like ServiceNow, which cater to 80% of the Fortune 500 market. So when we really think about this, right, if I was looking at a network to adopt, let's just say, I'm somebody who calls the shots around the US government. If I was looking at this technology and I was like, well, I want to be a big winner with this. I want the US to be, the crypto capital of the world. Hedera is a US based company. I would look at this GC and I would say this is completely stacked with some of the biggest names out there. Let me do a little bit more research on this. And then upon doing the research, you find the, efficiencies around Hedera, and that immediately kind of makes up that decision for you, because this is one of the best in classes, DLTs out there. So again, Hedera is at the highest point on that list of being an opportunity to actually revolutionize specific pieces of the government, embrace DLT at scale that could ultimately lead to increased revenue. Now, I bring this up because, again, we constantly are now hearing talks about this US government efficiency effort that Elon Musk has been, talking about and addressing. For an example, here we have from January 25th. Just in, Elon Musk is exploring blockchain technology to track US government spending, secure data, process payments, and manage federal property, aiming to boost transparency and reduce waste. Though critics warn of potential challenges. Now, this was the first time that we heard about this. And then Charles Adkins, who's the CEO of the HBAR Foundation, there's only one open network that can deliver real-time data provenance, hyper performance, and transparent governance in one package. Elon Musk, if you want efficiency for Doge that was built in the USA, you want Hedera. And of course, he is showing us the companies that govern the actual network, because these companies are not small time names. Like almost anyone out there that is doing research around the financial space, around the energy sector, around even the consumer sector, you're looking at this and you're picking out some of these big names and you're saying, wow, something must be happening here. Something must be drawing these big names to this network. What's going on here? But then we got this on February 5th. Now, Elon Musk proposes putting the US Treasury on the blockchain for full spending transparency. Citizens should track or could track taxpayer dollars in real time, which this is something that I've always supported. Listen, if you're paying a substantial amount in, why shouldn't you, be given a list or being able to see where that money is actually going? It makes a lot of sense. I don't understand why we don't have, something like this where there is a transparent breakdown of where our taxpayer dollars are actually going. But this was the post by Elon Musk from the other day as well. Would you like Doge to audit the IRS? Which was also a big yes. Now, I bring this up because, again, you can see a lot of these big discussions now happening around these moves to really kind of start holding the government accountable. I love this because the best way to hold the government accountable is by putting a lot of these, sectors and ultimately the government itself on chain. Best way to do this is tracking government spending, tracking taxpayer dollars, tracking and tracing almost everything that the government is doing would be a massive, massive move. Now, not everything will be able to be tracked and traced, obviously, but, I think that this is a great way to kind of see some accountability realized in. Now, we also have over here, should the treasury be put on the blockchain so this doesn't happen? We have Elon Musk saying yes, responding to Mario, and this is that full breakdown, right? So we have career treasury officials are breaking the law every hour of every day by approving payments that are fraudulent or do not match the funding laws passed by Congress. This needs to stop now. And the best way to do this is, like I said, putting this thing on the government or on the blockchain, just like Elon Musk is saying over here in terms of putting the US Treasury on the blockchain. But also originally, this is, he wants everything to basically be on chain, meaning, tracking US government spending, securing data, processing payments, managing federal property around tokenized property. I mean, almost everything that we could think about around tokenization, around blockchain, around DOT, all of this is capable of being done by adopting DLT. Now over here we have, could blockchain end treasury fraud and corruption? The answer is definitely yes, right? The US Treasury moves trillions daily, yet the system is opaque, slow, and riddled with inefficiencies that enable fraud, backroom deals, and mismanagement. On-chain transactions would mean full transparency, real-time auditing, and an immutable record of every dollar spent, eliminating hidden handouts, waste, and financial manipulation. No more off-the-book deals, no more missing trillions, just a fully accountable, fraud-proof treasury. Why aren't we doing this yet? And I feel as if at this current moment in time, this just makes sense to finally adopt this in. What better admin to do it under than Trump's? Because we already know that Trump has been very vocal about how they want to support crypto, how they want the US to be the crypto capital of the world. And we're already starting to see some very big moves happening around the regulatory side of things. So this just makes sense. Now, also over here, we have yesterday, Elon Musk agreed that the US Treasury should be put on the blockchain to prevent fraud. 27% chance it happens this year. Which chain should they use? Now, if we actually open this up real quick in a new tab, this was on February 5th. It was at a 27% chance. Right now, it's at about a 17% chance because we don't think that this is actually going to happen this year. This is something that does take time, but I do think that we're going to start to see some very big moves happening this year to actually adopt and integrate crypto blockchain DLT into the US system. And Hedera definitely is up there. Now, also, Hedera did make a post saying tracking US government spending with blockchain is probably simpler than simpler when the blockchain you use has fees pegged to USD. Why overcomplicate things? Hedera provides exactly that. And they did tag, of course, Doge, which is the Department of Government Spending, or Efficiency, sorry. And, you know, if we actually look at this post down here from MC, you know, if you are an OG around the Hedera community, you know about this post from Elon Musk. It was just the, you know, HBAR logo, basically. And a lot of people were wondering, like, what's going on here? Is he just posting about Hedera? Like, what's going on here? Again, we could speculate all day long until we actually have something in writing or in an announcement. There's no real, you know, there's no point in saying, like, all right, he 100% meant HBAR. We don't know, right? We don't know. But one thing that's clear to me is when we look at Hedera and we just go to the overview, okay, and this has been on their website for a very long time. Anyone can look at this. You see the comparison. Third generation public ledger. Even when we compare Hedera to like Solana, to, you know, a lot of these other players in the space, we could even say the XRP ledger, we could say XLM, we could throw in any, you know, name on this list. Hedera definitely stacks up against almost every single player in the space. I mean, Hedera has some of the best in-class technology. The ABFT security mechanism is huge. The scaling, right? The opportunity to infinitely scale when needed is a big deal around Hedera. And a lot of people actually don't know that Hedera can do that. But it's a big game changer. Also, carbon neutrality. Or actually, it's not even neutrality. It's negative, right? This is a carbon negative DLT. That's a huge, you know, thing to mention, because we know how sustainability and energy efficiency has always got, you know, it's brought up constantly. You know, we see it even over in the EU sector. So Hedera has almost every single box ticked when it comes to, you know, being that DLT of choice for a lot of these use cases. It makes sense. We don't know if Hedera is going to be used. In my opinion, I think that it's going to be a multi-chain, you know, effort. I think that there's going to be a few players tapped in here. But also, to wrap things up, we do have from Squawkbox, because it's been making the rounds. I think it's a good idea, says Rep French Hill on Doge. After years and years of building up government and government spending, it deserves to have a good, fresh outside look. And listen, we're almost $40 trillion in debt. It feels as though the taxpayer money goes absolutely nowhere. I think that this 100% needs to happen. I think that we need to hold this government accountable. And even outside of the US, we see DLT being adopted around financial use cases, around tokenization. I mean, fiat currencies are being tokenized. This is something that's inevitable. I think almost everything will be on chain. So this all makes 100% sense. Let me know what you guys think, though, down in the comments below, though. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you guys did enjoy this video, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.